Hey, it's Don. Welcome to Don't Worry, I'm Finite. Coming to you from Chicago today. Wanted to give you some bonus content from my episode with Nathan Terry. If you haven't listened to the podcast episode with Nathan yet, definitely go check it out. I'll put the link down in the description. We had a great conversation about being your own boss, allowing yourself to fail in creativity, and finding that motivation and drive to continue creating. Nathan created the theme music for this show, which is great and playing in the background right now. So make sure you check him out. I'll link his website below. I wanted to give you a little insight into our process. We talked a little bit before he made the music, and I gave him some ideas. We talk a little bit about how he created that, and you'll get a little insight into his process and the tools that he uses. So check that out. Make sure to check back here every Friday for new videos and listen to the podcast every Monday for new episodes. I'm excited about this project. I hope you've been enjoying it. See you in the next video.
Hey everybody, this is Nate, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of my production process for the Don't Worry, I'm Finite podcast theme. I am using Ableton Live, which is a music production software, and we'll just do a quick overview of that and then kind of dig into each track and show you what happens on each track. So Ableton is broad overview, functions in two parts here, just like any of these softwares do. You have this window, which is basically a mixing window, and that allows you to adjust the volumes of things. That allows you to adjust kind of where they sit on the left and right. You can add effects, all kinds of stuff in here. Group things together, boom, boom. Then we have this window, which is our tracks overview, and that is where you see each lane of music happening, each layer of music happening. So let's start with just going through each layer, and we can listen to them one by one, and then we'll listen to them all together, since you already heard it once in the beginning of this podcast. So we'll start with the drums here. You can see I named that Don Kit. It's named after Don. Don, you have your own drum set now. So here's the drum set. That's the drums. You can see here in the drums that it doesn't really look like what you might be familiar with in audio wave, if you've ever seen audio waves before, which look like this right here. So that's a recording of a guitar. We can listen to that. That's the main riff. So on this track here, you see it's just like a bunch of dots. That's because I didn't record a drum set. I didn't set up a drum set with a bunch of microphones and play. I'm in an apartment, so I think I'd probably drive my neighbors crazy doing that. So something that all of these digital audio workstations or DAWs can do is sample instruments. So in these tracks, and I did this with the bass guitar as well, I have little dots right here that correspond to different sounds. So I have a kick drum sound and a snare drum sound and a hi-hat sound and a cymbal and a tom and a floor tom, and I can play them all on the keyboard. So I sit there and boop boop bop, boop boop bop, boop 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 on a piano, but it sounds like the drums. So that's how I did the drum track. We listened to the guitar already. Yes, we did. We have a second guitar part, which is a little higher than the first guitar part, a little harmony, and it kind of thickens up the sound a little bit. We have a lead line that's also harmonized. And then we have the bass, which is a little harder to hear because it's low. You might have better luck hearing that with headphones on. And you can see there, those are those same dots that we saw before on the drums. So you can, let me expand this a little bit and you can see it a little clearer. So each one of those is a note on the bass, and you play that in on the keyboard. You can also move those around and edit it after the fact if you mess up a note. So that's a great way to record stuff. All right, so that's a basic overview of each track. Let me play it all together for you so you can hear it all combined. There it is. Okay, so let's dig in a little deeper and check out some effects. So each of these tracks has multiple effect plugins on them. Effect plugins are little pieces of software that go on each track and change the sound, basically. So there's all different kinds. There's ones that affect the tone of it, or the volume of it, or the space of it, which is like a reverb. So what a reverb does is you can take a signal or a sound that is very dry sounding, and you can put it inside of a room, or you can put it inside of a cavern or a stadium or wherever you want to put it. And then delays kind of make things go pop, 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 that kind of stuff. All different kinds of effects you can do. The one I'm going to show you is the amp plugins that I'm using for this main guitar riff. So I'm going to solo that sound. I'm also going to, yep, it's centered already. Okay, that's our main guitar riff. So you can see here that I have a whole bunch of plugins. Well, I have 4 plugins, not a whole bunch, it's 4 plugins. Expand that one. A tuner, right? So I can play the guitar, I can check if everything's in tune. Then I also have a emulation plugin. An emulation plugin allows me to create the sound of a guitar amp without actually recording a guitar amp. So let me open that one up. Here it is. And what I'll do is turn it off and turn it back on a couple times, and you can hear the difference. Pretty clear difference. So when it's off, you're just hearing just the sound of the guitar going straight into my computer, and it's pretty boring sounding. So you turn the emulator on, sounds like a guitar, right? So you can get into all these knobs and figure out what's going on in here, but they just, here we can vary it up a little bit. Right, make it a little crunchier. You can do a different kind of guitar. You can do a different kind of distortion. Right, okay, so that's the basic idea. Over here is the cabinet, which is like the speaker. So you can change it to a different type of speaker. Changes the sound a little bit. Right, so you can make any kind of guitar sound you want just by changing a couple settings on here, and it's pretty awesome and it sounds pretty darn good. So let me turn this off. Each one of these tracks has those plugins on it. And since I'm using a lot of guitar, I have a lot of these guitar plugins on here. Same one, slightly different settings, just to kind of vary it and make it sound like it's coming out of a different amplifier. Kind of gives a little more realism. I have an overdrive stomp box. So like a stomp box is, if you have a real guitar, you might plug it into an effects box and it'll cause distortion or delay or any number of things. So you can do that in the virtual world as well. There are tons and tons and tons of different kinds of plugins. As you can see here, these are all different plugins that I have, and they all do different things in different ways, and we could go on and on and on and on and on and on and talk about that for a long time, but I won't do that. Unless you're interested, then let me know. Yeah, so that's really about it. Yeah, I think we're good. Thanks a lot.
Nathan Terry is connecting to audio and can't hear me yet. There he is. What's up?
How's it going, Don?
Good. I was like, I always start talking before anybody can hear me on the other side.
So I always miss things that you have to say, no matter what.
Yes.
Wow.
You can continue to miss them as we go. So
you want me to do some music for a new podcast?
Yeah, so I'm doing like a creativity podcast. I've already recorded a handful of episodes, but
Okay.
I want some good music to go with it. Something a little like pop punk emo derived kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like I want a little bit of energy to it. We can collaborate a little bit, and I can give you some thoughts if I come up with something, but really kind of leave it in your capable hands as far as
Okay, cool.
as far as the writing is concerned.
Yeah. If you have any, because I know like the pop punk emo world can be pretty broad. So if you have
Definitely.
any specific song examples besides "Sleepless in Millville," I mean that's a great reference, but like any other stuff,
Okay.
would be super helpful. Okay, cool. How long do you want it to be? Like 30 seconds?
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah. So then I can kind of lead into it and let the music
Okay.
start while there's still some talking in the beginning or at the end or whatever.
Okay. Well, there could be a point too, you know, in the middle where it's just like a loopable thing, and you could extend it or shorten it depending on how you.
Yeah, and then I can kind of fade out toward the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so I'm excited to see what you got.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
All right.
All right.
Enjoy your day. Talk to you later.
Yeah, you too.